You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Justified After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Justified After Show.
Whoa, hello everybody. Yeah, we got the full intro. I wasn't ready for that. I was expecting to have to chime in with that intro. Well, thank you for joining us. As you know, they say what Bing is for doing, and what we are doing is our latest podcast. We are doing Justified Season 3, Episode 7. I'm your host. I'm John Comerford. I'm joined in the studio by the lovely and talented Tamara Berg, by the not so lovely but equally talented Steve Bottomley. In the booth. We have the producer extraordinaire Phil Zvitek and a very special guest.
Welcome.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for saying hi, Phil. Very special guest. He's hails from Detroit, which is a nice tie-in to Justified. He's we could say a seasoned veteran of the improvisational comedy. He's studied in New York, Improv Olympic here in LA. You've seen him on hit TV shows like My Name is Earl, Raising Hope, and you've also seen him in movies. We have a new movie coming up for him, which we'll be talking about in our special segment.
Yes, sir.
Please welcome Terence Bernie Hines.
Thank you.
That's right. So,
My pleasure.
And so we know that you hail from Detroit, and which is the nice tie-in because Quarles, our bad guy, hails from Detroit. So it was nice. You were mentioning earlier that you like to hear the references they had from the city, the Motown.
Yes. I love the reference of Gallows in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue.
And you knew all that place, huh?
Oh, is that where Sammy was talking about where
That
a
is
suit came
Suits,
from?
Where
yeah,
the suit came from.
so.
Not exactly the best choice of soup, but
I thought it was lovely.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It was cut nicely.
Very stylish
Yeah,
about 25
exactly.
years ago.
Oh, yes.
Needed a little tailoring, but it was a nice fabric.
More than a little.
Yeah, exactly. That was nice.
We'll touch that later if you want. But,
Absolutely, we'll get into that later. But we're really happy to have you here. We can't wait to hear about what's coming up for you in terms of the movies, etc. So we'll talk about that.
I do have a question
segment.
though about Detroit and you coming from Detroit and
Yes.
listening to Sammy. Now, is a dialect right? Or are you going, yeah, I can? There's, that's a good neighborhood dialect, or?
No, not
did you get
exactly.
it? No.
Its dialect is natural. It's more of a Mid-Eastern kind of a deal, and but there's people from all over in Detroit, so you can get away with it.
Yeah, because it's and it almost sounded like they emigrated from New York or something.
Right,
His
exactly.
family.
which can happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
people come from New York to Detroit all the time.
Yeah.
Nah, really.
Why?
They go usually the
I'm
other way
thinking,
around.
it's more of a one-way.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like.
all right. Well, okay, so let's get into our show. We'll break down.
Wait, but first I just want to say you're a big Justified fan and have watched it from the very
absolutely.
okay. So
Yes.
He's watched from episode 1, I would take.
Yes, and have met Graham Yost and love the show, and it's genius as far as I'm concerned.
Isn't it?
Only one problem I have with Justified.
Here we go.
And this is a big problem, but we'll get over it. Margot Martindale is no longer.
I know, man. She was.
But wasn't that
Thanks, Phil.
final episode of season 2 just the best ever?
That
and she
was my
Yeah.
I was
favorite.
just
If you have to leave a series,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
the way to go.
I want to go
that's
like
the way
that.
to
Yeah.
go.
And so deserving of the
of
Emmy.
the Emmy, yeah. Oh,
I
I
was,
was just
really
bawling
put-
my eyes out when she won the Emmy. I was so
know.
excited for her
Yeah.
getting.
And
And
Been
I
around
actually,
forever.
I walked up to her after, at the after party for the Emmy Awards, and she hugged me, but she apologized because her entire dress was dripping wet.
Aww.
She was so.
Hey, that's an AfterBuzz exclusive right there, my friend.
AFTERBUZZ TV
You're not going to hear that anywhere else.
That's right here.
I love
Breaking
that
news.
about her. See, it makes me cry even just thinking about it
She
because
has
I
so-
was
She's
so
a
touched by
lovely
her.
woman.
She
She
did
was just
such
an
a great
amazing.
job.
I think
Season
I'm
two.
not sure she's going to be
Awesome.
too happy that you outed her with flop sweat.
Well, it was
Flop,
one of
sweat, and
those
tears.
nights.
Yeah.
If you win an Emmy Award and you're gonna sweat, that's one time to do it. You know what I'm saying?
That is the time to do it. So,
Sorry.
Flop, Sweat, and Tears.
Yeah, it's a great band from
Yeah,
the
I love those
60s.
guys.
Yes.
I have to say though, I've said this a couple times before on the podcast. I'll say it again. That last season 2's finale, I've watched it about 5 times. Just for that, especially that last scene where she's on
definitely
to know the mystery, as she puts
Such
it.
a go-to episode.
Yeah, it's terrific.
To see. So, and you know, we've often said in this room that it's you know, it's a good TV show, but they do stuff that I would say I would pay to see that in a movie today.
Yes.
You know, the level of writing and the level of, you know, acting, and the work and everything.
The research that the writers do.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
I know we get smarter by following up on things they say.
We do. It's true.
And since you brought it up, you dropped the name Graham Yost. Go ahead. What was that like? Did he sweat all over you as well?
Graham Yost hugged me, and he was actually not.
He smelled like a garden.
He was so wonderful. I felt smarter just hugging him.
Well, I would imagine that would happen.
He's actually a really, really funny guy.
Is he?
Really?
Very funny. I mean, you know, you can tell he's done all these. You know, this is not the first show he's done.
No.
He's a very, you know, seasoned writer and producer, and
Venerable.
Very venerable guy. He knows what he's doing. Actually, I actually said to him, you know what, Graham, for what you do, it's one of the best shows on TV. And he went, what do I do?
I'm not sure how did he take that?
I think it worked out okay, but I don't think I'll be on Justified this season.
What was the circumstances under which you guys met?
We actually, he had an Emmy screening for the last episode last year.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
it was him along with, you know, the stars. And I don't remember the name of the girl that played on the show last season. She's now on Last Man Standing. The teen girl who was Margot's daughter on the show. Her make-believe daughter.
She played Loretta.
She was there, and I met all of the main cast and the producers behind the show, and they were just like having a good time because they knew they had an incredible show. I mean, it's one of the best shows in years on TV.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we often talk about how we can't believe it's not more of a hit because it is so good and so
I remember
smart.
the first
And we're
season I was the
constantly
only one in
evangelizing
here
it.
doing this podcast.
Really?
Because nobody had heard about it. And then I'm sitting there screaming to get people to watch it. And I turned Phil onto it, then Tammy, and then we got Steve this year and stuff.
And here's the thing: they gave me the DVDs, and you know, you start, and then I started, and then you know, one kid comes in, and goes, "What's this?" I go, "Just watch it, you'll get into it." Now the whole family is like, you know,
all
we got to get
hooked.
caught up. We got to get caught up.
Exactly.
And I know
It's
if I gave them
infectious.
to my neighbors, it would happen again. It's just
infectious.
getting it out there. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally, man. I'm telling you, and it's on cable, and I think that's one of the reasons why not everybody may have heard about it, but once you watch it, you're hooked.
They don't really promote it very much.
But this season they did a little bit
They're doing
more
more,
because they
yeah.
did have these
Ad
bus ads
campaign,
and stuff
yeah.
all
that's
over
true.
LA.
Yes.
That's true. They did do it this year.
And I
which I
love
was
the
happy
salty
to see.
language on the show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow, this
Yeah.
one was really
Oh, my
salty.
goodness.
Very salty.
Well, first of all, the first 9 minutes were
Tasty.
in one segment.
Well, yeah,
we didn't
before
have a
we got to
commercial
the
until
opening.
9 minutes in, so that was really surprising. And at one point, you know, I mean, it's always a little surprising to hear the S word on regular TV, you know. And boy, they were using it a lot today.
yes,
It
they
was
went there.
surprising me.
But it'll
definitely
be
went
interesting
there.
if they delete that in reruns. Once you know.
what if it goes to another?
Well,
No, they'll probably just do another.
Shucks. Put a lot of shucks in there.
yeah.
It's not the same thing. If it's an
not
Elmore
really.
Leonard deal, and it's just not the same thing. It's like,
There
don't
was-
watch it if you don't like that.
Yeah.
There were so many small things in this
Yeah.
episode. There's just so many small things that when Dodd comes in from the cold back to Limehouse, and he's sitting at the table. I think it's Dodd, the guy that set up the hit.
Errol.
Errol.
His
Errol.
son Errol.
Yeah.
Close. Dodd,
yeah, that was
Errol.
very close.
Yeah.
No, the white guy.
Oh, Tanner.
Tanner. Yeah, close. Todd, Tanner.
Todd,
All right,
Tanner.
that's it.
There
You're
was a
out.
T in there
You're
somewhere.
out. So thank God you're here. You can take him.
boy.
Take over.
See what happens when I go on Twitter?
All right. Yeah.
you become
Right.
stupid.
All right, well,
You do.
let's get into the thing that I cracked up at. We've been crazy for the last few weeks because we wanted more Tim, more Rachel, all that kind of stuff. And finally, we got Tim back in on this because Raylan has to
Yep.
ask him for a favor.
Exactly.
And one of the reasons why I love that is because you get to see how Tim treats Raylan.
Oh, which is so funny.
When he's out there in the hall, or people are kind of like they're careful of Raylan.
And they're
they
a little
know
bit
he's gotta-
reverent.
Yeah, that's right. You know, not in the marshal's office. They
No.
give him no respect. They just treat him like a child.
Last I checked, you were also a marshal.
Yeah, I'm working with an 8th grader here.
Yeah.
They treat him like crap.
Got him to do some work.
Exactly.
He really relied a lot on Tim in this episode, and at the end where
Yeah.
Tim says, "You left me out to dry," essentially.
Yeah,
You
and
screwed
no
me.
more favors.
No more favors, and he just kind of like blew it off.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really an interesting.
And it was up because we
Yes.
were talking about how Raylan usually has everything under control. He's just got
Mm-hmm.
it figured out, 2 steps ahead of people. Then I'll do this, I'll do that. He can't even figure out where the guy's staying.
And I wonder if they're doing this to kind of show that he's a little bit lost because he's still distracted over the Winona
Winona.
thing.
Winona
I mean,
not
she
being there.
wasn't in this one, but they have to keep
Yeah.
that sort of thing alive.
And I think what put him off his game, he even mentioned that his Quarles came to his place
Yeah.
and offered him a bribe.
Right.
Right.
He's
came-
off.
he came
He's
into
like,
his
whoa,
house.
He
what
did
the
not
hell?
like that.
No, not at all. Because he even said that to Tim. I leaned on this guy and now he's all up my grill. Mm-hmm. So I think that really put him off.
He said, he's up in my...
Was that what he said?
Yeah.
I'm
He
sorry.
actually went there with
I'm
that
sorry.
word, too.
He's up in my shucks.
Yes.
Up in his shucks.
Way up in my
He's
shucks.
up in my shucks.
Yeah, and that's even worse than your grill.
It is.
How about Stephen Tobolowsky?
I love seeing him every time I see him.
He's a delight.
He is a delight. He played the Fibby that came in to have that little meeting with
yeah.
Art.
Smarmy
Oh, yeah.
Fibby.
And
He's
well,
Smarmy
that's
is
what
his
he
middle
does.
name.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
That's what he
Stephen
does.
Smarmy Tobolowsky. That's what he.
Yeah.
And Art's face and attitude through that whole
Aw.
meeting is
Like,
just.
what have you gotten us
Nothing's
into
gonna
now,
phase him. Yeah.
Raylan?
And nothing's gonna phase him. He's just gonna have a little fun with the Fibby and.
But that's the attitude they all have because even Tim says you're gonna go all Raylan on him.
Love that line.
That was
So they
hilarious.
All
all
Raylan
feel
on
this
him.
way.
I don't even know what that means.
drag him. Well, he told him, drag him out by his nutsack.
Yes,
I'm not even
exactly.
gonna touch his nutsack.
Touch his nutsack.
His nutchucks. I'm not gonna touch those either.
Nunchucks.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So, but I love that the marshal's office, he seems like a badass everywhere but the marshal's office. Isn't that the
Yep.
way it is? You always get no respect in your own house.
is
well-
that how it is?
No,
that how it is, John?
no,
it's true.
no. I'm just talking in general. Like when you go home,
Yep.
you always revert to the role that they put you
Absolutely.
in when you were a child.
Absolutely.
So you could be
Yeah.
you could be the the president of some CEO, whatever it is, and you go home and no, you're just a middle child.
Yeah, exactly.
So
For sure.
at the marshal's
Redheaded
office.
stepchild.
Exactly.
That's it.
Now, in the end of that scene, Raylan says to the Fibby, or the Phoebe,
Phoebe.
Yeah, as he calls it.
he said, "Or you have a leaking ship."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, why would Raylan know there's a?
Because
Leak.
Quarles came to him. He
Okay.
thought Boyd set him on to him.
Oh, okay, all right.
Right.
And now he realizes it wasn't Boyd. Somebody else knew they were looking into Quarles, so Quarles came to get and say, hey, basically the meeting was, I know you're looking into me, I'll bribe you first so we can be friends.
But
Quote friends.
at the same time, he must have a leaky ship because
Yeah.
he did know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'd
He
be
knows there's a
interesting to
leak, he
know
just doesn't know
who
where
that
it is.
Right.
And so they know that for sure. And he's trying to, Steven is trying to put a lid on it and not let it get out there because he knows he's got a leak somewhere.
And
So
there
he's
was
screwed.
another line that I thought was very interesting, which is, and I don't know if we can say this, but
You can say it.
there must be a dick test that
Whoa!
all FBI agents must
What?
pass.
What kind of language?
You out!
You people from Detroit.
Excuse me, then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have I passed that test? now?
Yeah, you can say that.
Oh, good. Okay.
But that is one of the best lines. Say it again for us, please. So
there
I won't,
must
I
be
won't
a
be so
dick
rude.
test that every FBI agent must pass.
Again,
There must
art.
be a dick test.
And if you think about other characters saying that line, no one's gonna say it as good as Art.
No.
That's what I love about this. They set the lines to the characters
Yeah.
so nicely.
Okay, now just because of these lines, because I thought the lines in this were the best, but as an actor,
Yes.
you get a script like this, aren't you just going, this is going to be fun?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
I'm
when you-
thinking, yes, there must
Yeah.
be a dick test that I must pass someday, and I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just good stuff. I love that he said, there must be a dick test.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
just classic one-liners
Yeah.
that's just like thrown all
And
over
they're
the place.
all
in here.
over. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what was
They
some of
are
the,
all
what was some of the, oh my God, I should have written them down in one area, but there were a couple,
Well,
few that
even
Raylan
the way
had,
they
too.
say it when Limehouse is talking to Tanner, is we got a problem or we got a situation here.
Yes.
Oh, he breaks
Yelling
it
in
up.
his ear.
Mikel T.T. Williams.
Yeah,
Quarles.
is that how you pronounce it? It's
Yes,
not Michael T?
Well, Michael T. or Michael T.
Oh, okay, I thought it was
Michael
Michael T. Somebody had told me Michael T. is in.
And Quarles does it a lot when he just says like, howdy. You know, he's
Oh,
got all these
yeah.
moments that he just
Yeah. Oh,
plays
well,
with
we have.
all
I don't
of
work with people I don't know. Well, allow this to stand as our
As an
introduction.
introduction.
Exactly.
He opens the briefcase of
Howdy.
money. Howdy.
And the Limehouse line of talking to Arlo saying, "As long as you've known me, have I ever been known to play dumb?"
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I just love that they. That's such a boring line. What kind of flavor can we give that?
You know, Quarles is so fun to watch doing that because he plays at one level and he's
Yeah.
got this intensity so that when he breaks it up, it's very judicious, you know, and when he does, he's so smart in how he does it.
Right.
Yes.
I'm gonna go eat a nice plate of steaming shit.
Yes.
Unsalted.
Unsalted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
I
come on.
have a
Would
little
you just go
something on
crazy?
that.
Stuff
I
like
love that.
Wouldn't you just go nuts? I mean, that's why I think they get a lot of actors who just are dying to be on this show. First of all, it's Elmore Leonard, because who doesn't want to do that? And then they read the dialogue, or they just see it, and you just go, I got to get on that thing.
I mean, where else? What other show will you find a line like that on? What other movie do you find lines like that in?
Yeah,
No.
and on
Yeah.
every character, even those that are periphery or tertiary characters, whatever, they've got wonderful dialogue.
I wanted to talk about the steaming pile of
Oh
unsalted.
boy, yeah, bring it on. Steaming pile of
Please do,
shucks.
yes.
Interview with Graham Yost, he said his dad did a show in Canada for 25 years all about the movies. Part of it was every year he'd go to Hollywood and interview whoever he could get who was somehow related to the movies. One year he interviewed Richard Brooks, who is a great old Hollywood director and a noted tough guy. My dad did this whole interview with him, and after it was over, they were talking off the mics and heading out, and Brooks said, "You know the hardest thing about working in this business, Elwie?" And my dad said, "What?" And he said, "All this shit you have to eat unsalted." And so that's where they got the line.
Love that.
Isn't that great?
He took that, put it in his back
Yep.
pocket, and said, "I'm going to use that."
Yep.
sometime." Wow.
Yep.
Does that mean Graham's Canadian?
I think it does. I think it does. I'm sorry. I don't know
even
that
what
for
to do.
sure,
Well,
but
hey,
that's what it
why
sounds
don't
like.
we Bing that and find out?
If I had an internet connection, I
You
so
could- you
would.
could so Bing
I
that.
could Bing it.
You guys have internet?
No, apparently
Well, when
we don't.
someone's not on the telephone,
We're
yeah.
supposed to. We're
Yeah.
supposed to.
Phil's
So it
effectively
seems like
on
the
telephone.
past is coming back to Quarles in a not good way because
No.
he's getting irritated that
Yes.
his shucks is starting to come up.
Yes.
The shuck is hitting the fan.
Everywhere he turns.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So we learn. We finally get to find out why he's been marooned or
Sure. Sent into
shunned.
exile.
Exactly, sent into exile.
Which
down
brings
in
up
Harlan.
another point that was incredible research. I don't know how they did this, but being from Detroit, I know for a fact they mentioned that his rent boy that he found on 6 Mile and Woodward in Detroit, that he put into a coma. There actually is a 6 Mile and Woodward in Detroit, and that actually is an area where you would go to if you were to do something like that.
Wow.
That's just a small little
Way to
detail
go.
that only someone from Detroit would
Authentic.
know.
Right. Yeah, we definitely
Good
would
little
know.
travel tip for all you AfterBuzz travelers. Go
Go
ahead
to
and
Motown.
Bing,
What was the
Bing
name of the
that.
street again? What was the name of the
6
area?
Mile and Woodward.
6 Mile and Woodward.
I mean, I heard. I don't know for
Right.
sure.
We
Yeah,
understand.
no.
We understand.
As an actor, you have done the research.
Yeah. He
Heard him
he's
say
method.
it.
He's method.
His method.
And yes, I mean, my method, but not. You were
So
saying?
a little bit of a homecoming sort of thing. You go, oh yeah, I know that, kind of know that area. I don't know that area at all. I've never.
Read small details here and there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
Anywho.
But
Well,
so
I'm
we get to know.
assuming that reference is also going to show up in the storage room. That
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
The
So
storage
let's play
room.
that out. We start to learn a little bit more. We know that he's tooling up
Hustlers.
hustlers.
Yeah.
From,
Big time.
Exactly.
From 6
Literally.
Mile.
So that's
Yeah.
every time we've been to the house and there's the room there and somebody tied up and gagged. Now we know. Okay, that's just a little thing he
a
does.
little stress relief.
Some people play sports.
That's one way
Yeah.
to put
Some
it. I
people
guess.
have a
Scrabble.
drink. He likes to tool up hustlers.
Right.
So really, can we judge? I
No,
mean,
yes.
Elliptical machine.
Yes.
alone.
No, yes.
It's
no.
really up to the viewer
Yeah, yeah.
what we're going to do.
We're not going to tell him.
That's right. Why should we?
We can tell him to Bing it, though.
And we don't know for a fact that the guy isn't a willing participant.
Right.
It might be a thing.
He might be being.
And he might enjoy screaming
That's right.
for bloody murder whenever,
he
that
could.
happens.
It's
Might be
just
his
role
stress relief.
playing. He could be paid for this. This is what he's signed
We
on
can never
for.
assume anything in
That's
this
right.
series.
This
This
is
is
true.
what we've
So
learned
true.
a long time ago.
But the look on his face when Raylan basically said, "Look, I've read your jacket. You're tooling
Yeah.
up the." I was like, "Oh, I thought I was going to come here to." get one up on him.
I thought this was a fresh start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I thought we were going to be
Apparently
friends.
There's no freshness here.
And another great moment in there where they're in the bar, and I love that now. Oh, by the way, the reason why it was in that same interview, the reason why they put Raylan now in a bar is because they're saying there's not much we can do in the office.
Yeah.
And without Winona, he's in a motel room alone. So they figured let's just, and that's where Elmer Leonard in his latest book.
Yeah.
Puts his character
Right.
in a.
Yeah. I thought, what
really?
a great move. Of course, put him in a, and I love that.
So much territory to,
Right, exactly.
to develop there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
And again, how they do it, they don't say, "Well, look at the new bouncer." He just comes in, and the dialogue is in the moment.
Yeah. And
What-
you just have to
what can
figure it
I
out and
get
trust
you?
that you'll
you
get
have
it.
to figure it out
Yeah.
and trust that you'll get it.
And for me, the character point is just that he's sunk so low. He's now sleeping over a bar. Well, sorry, trying to sleep over a bar.
Yeah.
Right.
His wife, not wife, but ex-wife is who he was dating has left him. He has no home. He has no home of his own, and he can't even get any sleep.
And this
I
is
just
what's-
can't even get any sleep.
This is what's great about that, because when you're watching it, you think about all that stuff.
Yeah.
The reason why they don't have to have the phone call to Winona and all that
No.
stuff is because
It's all there.
you're already doing it yourself.
Yeah.
You're seeing him there. You go, if Winona wasn't there, he wouldn't be there. So through that, they're able to keep all that alive. But
Exactly.
when
all
Quarles
behavior-based.
goes in, and he's going in thinking that I know that this guy's dirty, we're gonna have this conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him some money. We'll be happy.
Yeah,
Da,
and
da,
and,
da.
and when that doesn't pan out,
Yeah, it's like-
I love how Quarles handles it. It's like, I'm a businessman, I'll just roll with it. It's not until later on in the RV
then you get really pissed.
that
find
you
out.
realize.
But he's just gonna go bribe somebody else anyway.
Sure,
Exactly.
that's what he does.
Well, and I'm sure it's worked for him.
U of M, go blue.
See, that's real too. They actually say
course.
that.
You gotta listen close, but
Exactly.
they drop them in quick.
Go blue. And I love the scheme. Everyone on this show has their own scheming and plotting going on.
Yeah.
And it's all going to come to a head at some point.
Yeah, and I think especially in this episode, you saw a lot of, because that's what the feeling I got as I'm watching. I go, man, everybody's maneuvering. You know, it's all coming. I thought that was for me. It was really successful in this particular episode.
More so than last season.
Yeah.
I mean, last season it was kind of like the two things, but this time you don't know, okay, so where's Limehouse going?
All
What,
these
what side is
pieces.
he
Right.
on? Because he's right in the middle.
Yeah.
And then,
Exactly.
And so you think Sammy and Quarles is good, but no, Sammy's able to turn, and there's
And
there's
Limehouse said
everything going
he's
on.
going to finish the job that his
That Errol
guy
started.
under him started.
Yeah.
How is he going to do that?
I don't know, but I mean, that's the what you're pointing to is that it's like we're all going, whoa, Limehouse
Yeah, because
is now in on it.
last episode he said whoever did this needs to be quiet or go away.
Yeah.
When the guy's right there, and he said no, we're keeping him alive, and he's going
Yeah.
back. To
But he also
Quarles.
told Errol, we're gonna finish what you started.
Right.
And you're gonna be there every step of the way. And he did it with big axe and and those meat and blood. And,
Blood and gut. There were lots of
and
guts
we
in
got
that
back
scene.
to the slaughterhouse this time too when Tanner comes in. That was, always just the entrails all over
Entrails
the table.
on the table.
Yeah,
and you're
like,
sitting
okay.
right there, and there's
Spill your
meat.
guts, my buddy.
Yeah,
delicious.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another great metaphor of just look, spill your guts.
So
Oh,
he's
if you don't-
graduated from Bubba Gump Shrimp Company
Yes, exactly.
to this pig slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
You know, you go where
He's
you
moving
go.
up the food chain.
Yeah, kind of in so
Yeah.
many backwards ways. I
Yeah.
guess you could say that.
He's always. I just love that every time he's either barbecuing, he's in the
Still-
slaughterhouse.
Still packaging some sort of food.
Yes.
Still in the
a
food
food item.
packaging thing.
It's a Bubba Gump entrails. I don't. It's it's sweetbread.
Well,
No, anybody? Okay, no.
Yummy.
All right. So let's move
Well,
on from that. Now, go ahead.
Well, I mean, so we've got the Quarles and the Boyd thing going on, and again,
Yeah.
in this episode, I thought Boyd was really domesticated. He's like first time we see him, he's bringing the keg in.
Yeah.
Next time we see him, he's cleaning up the bar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
he's,
thought that was
he's
weird.
interesting.
Didn't you think? I was
I
like,
did.
where's the tough guy Boyd? Where's the crazy Boyd? And,
And
by
he
the
got,
way,
he got knee
how-
in the groin and kicked in the butt.
exactly. And how many episodes?
They're pushing him down. It's
How
like,
many
oh.
series do you get to see the good guy beat up a guy in a wheelchair?
And enjoy watching
And
it
enjoy
too. 'cause
watching
it.
That's right.
That was
Yeah, because we need more people beating up others in a wheelchair. That's
Yes.
what we need.
well, according to the interview, Graham Yost was saying, Tim Oliphant came up with that the day before, I think,
Yeah.
or the day of the shoot. And like, okay, we
right,
got to
can
do
we-
it quick, 'cause, we can't
Yeah.
just. So they just like put it together real quick, and did it a few times.
Yeah.
And it was like a spur of the moment. Yeah, how about I just beat him and throw him off a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well,
Yeah,
what do they always? They always say they want to be treated like everybody else.
Well, actually, everybody on the show gets the crap beaten out of them at one point or another.
Yeah.
It's true.
Let's not forget,
Male or
Raylan was
female.
hanging in a tree, getting being a pinata. So
basically
And by the
what
way, in this show, it's better to get the crap beat out of you
'Cause
the
otherwise
option
you
is
die.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get shot. So.
I'll pick me. I'll get the crap beat out of me.
I'll get
I swear, you get the script every week. You're probably just going, "Am I at the end? Am I at the end?"
Yeah, exactly.
I have a line at the end.
Or in some cases, you get to lose your kidneys. And who
Yes.
knows what'll happen after
all
that.
4 of them.
You know what? Yeah, I have a note here. All 4 of them.
Right.
That's true.
I've got 4 kidneys.
Dewey.
Dewey and Dickie. I mean, there's no reason to go back to them, but don't you just want to how you guys doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll be back.
They will.
I
He's
know.
recuperating.
They're just doing their.
Oh yeah.
nickel.
Well, they keep bringing him out because they love him so much they can't. Well, Gary. We brought the character Gary back.
Yes, they did bring Gary back.
You know,
Thought for sure he was
Very,
gone.
very stupid Gary.
Yes.
God,
The loser. The lovable loser.
I thought why do you think they spent so much time on the seminar scene with him?
Yeah, I don't know why we spent so much time. I guess to remind people who he was, and if you hadn't met him before, you would get the context of who he was, because that seminar was pretty cheesy.
Speaking of smarmy, yeah.
Yeah. So if you didn't know who he was, then you would have gotten enough out of what kind of guy he was.
I have a feeling we're going to see more of him soon.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
We're
very
gonna
soon.
see more
He's
of
gonna
him,
be he's dead in the next
maybe,
episode, so that's we'll
maybe
see
the
enough of
reason
him.
why we spent so much time there is going to pay off later. But I was watching, going, "Wow!" For the pacing of the show.
I thought too. I was like, why? It was a particularly long scene for the rest of
It was.
And
for the payoff was.
It could have been just that. Well, we don't have enough room to put any more scenes in. We've told our story, so
Payoff's
gotta get
coming.
out of here.
It's coming.
That's right.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about the squeeze that's happening. I like the parallels between what's happening to Quarles and what's happening to Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these guys who were at each other's, they're the ones that had the little tat-a-tat last week, which is, you're a carpetbagger here, and we're not going to be partners. And even though Quarles think they can make more money together than apart, but now we see Quarles getting the squeeze from his boss and the son and the FBI and Raylan, and then Boyd's get the squeeze from the sheriff, and so all that's happening. I love the tracks those were taking. I thought they did a really successful job of paralleling that.
Yeah, initially it was going to be the Quarles Boyd fight.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, look at this, and yet it's not.
No.
They don't have time to fight because.
And the episode it's man behind the curtain.
Right.
Now,
Yeah, everybody's doing their bidding for them.
Yeah, and who was it that was it? Who said it? Was it Boyd that said, "No, I want to know about the man behind the badge"?
Right.
So that was the reference to that. So there's always somebody behind pulling the strings.
Also, remember Quarles went to Boyd,
Right.
and Boyd was the one that said, "We're not doing it this way."
No.
And here's one thing that I just love watching. When Raylan and Boyd are together, a little bit off, but kind of the same thing. When Raylan and Boyd are together and they're having their discussions, quotes,
They're conferring. With
they're
a friend.
conferring. I
friend.
always remember what Graham Yost had said about that, which is Boyd actually thinks at the end of the day that they're friends. Beneath all that stuff, they're friends.
Yeah, they're friends.
Whereas Raylan does not
No.
believe that. That at the end of the day, you're an adversary and
We're not friends.
We're not friends. And so that dynamic, if you watch those scenes with that dynamic involved, it's just fascinating.
But they were friends. Didn't they used to be friends?
When they
as
were
kids?
kids.
When they were kids.
Yeah, and then the past,
Well, in
dynamic.
the reality, I don't know if you heard about this, but we talked about it last week, that the actor, Walton Goggins, who plays Boyd, in his mind, he always plays it as if Raylan and Boyd are friends. And Timothy, because they've had this discussion together between Walton and Timothy. Timothy says, no, we've never been friends. We're not friends. And Raylan doesn't think we're friends. So the actors themselves have a difference about how they approach the role. So we find that fascinating.
Which is great.
Yeah.
awesome.
Because it doesn't matter. It still works. Either way,
No,
any way you
either
want to
way.
do it.
But the underlying stuff is awesome. Yeah.
Just one thing, we were talking about the little things that were peppered in, and remember we've been talking at all this season that Graham Yost was talking about how I need to remind people that Walton, as charming, not Walton, Boyd, as charming as he is and as refined looking as he is, he's a bad guy. And so there were two things that I thought were really fascinating. One was when Raylan came into the bar and he was carrying the keg.
Yeah.
Boyd was carrying the keg. The first shot of him Boyd's
At the
standing
bar.
there at the bar, and there's a neon sign behind him that's got a long horn.
Got long horns, yeah.
And he's got
In red.
He's got horns coming out of his head.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, and you know that framing can't be a mistake.
No.
There's just
No.
no way.
No, they put red horns
smart.
on him.
Nice.
So funny. And then later there was, I think it was when, I can't remember who was talking to who. It was when Shelby and Boyd were talking in
Right.
the end.
Yeah.
The shot of Boyd, he looked like a skull. His face
Yeah,
looked like
the
a skull.
way they
the
lit
eyes
him.
were really sunken
Exactly.
in, and you could really
They
see that
had that.
definition in his
Right.
face. And I thought, wow, they are really doing a great job
Making
of
him
Making a
the-
deal with the
reminding that.
devil, perhaps.
Yeah.
Making a deal
that's
with
what
the-
they're
I
Yes,
thought
exactly.
there was a lot of metaphors in this. We're talking about Sammy's suit and how it because that's the first thing I noticed. It's like this doesn't fit.
Sammy,
No.
who's the son of the Detroit mobster.
Right,
Exactly.
who Quarles does not like
Played-
because it should be Quarles' job, and here's the
And
guy
the
that he's
son
going
got it,
to
exactly.
eat a big plate of shucks.
Wonderfully
unsalted.
played by Max Perlich.
Yes.
Perlich. The suit doesn't fit because he's not ready for the position.
No.
He's trying to
He is an
wear
empty
the
suit,
clothes.
basically.
He's trying to wear the clothes of his father, and they don't fit and everybody sees it but
Yeah.
him.
And how quickly they get, Raylan gets him into the round barn.
Round barn, yeah.
He basically walks in and goes, "Don't kill me, I'll tell you whatever you
Yeah,
want."
Exactly. It's like, okay,
Wow,
okay,
he was
okay.
a real tough
And
guy.
then,
If you
and then they
touch me, if
actually
you
talk
touch me,
about the
bam.
suit. They actually talk about the suit
Yeah.
without saying that suit doesn't fit you and without saying the metaphor about how you can't even fill the suit, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But they say it without saying that. 'Cause,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
what is it, the saying is dress the part, not dress the part and hide behind your daddy.
Dress the part,
Exactly.
be the part.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, can I bring up the little bit of news we know about
Yes,
Daddy?
bring it up.
So, Daddy, Theo, Tonin, I'm not sure what the character
I believe
name
it's
is.
Tonin, but I'm not sure. The
he-
mobster from Detroit.
Yes.
So Dad, the big boss, will be coming in the finale episode and the one or two before that.
Love that.
And it is going to be played by Adam Arkin.
Adam.
Really?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
Perfect.
I mean, for me, at first glance, I wouldn't go mobster, Detroit,
Right.
Adam Arkin.
But he has.
But that's why I think it'll be great.
He has directed 5
That's
episodes
great.
Yes, he
of
has. He's
Justified,
directed 5
and
episodes.
so
Yeah.
I'm sure that had a lot to do with them bringing him in. And I'm a
Cool.
big fan of Adam Arkin.
he's
I think
terrific.
he's fantastic.
I can't
So
wait to
that's
see
gonna
what
be
he does
exciting.
with it.
I could be wrong, and I may be wrong.
That's okay.
But I believe Adam Arkin is from Detroit.
Oh, so
If we
there's
ever get
another
internet,
little
we can
extra.
check that out.
Yeah,
If
don't
we
get
ever
it.
do.
What would we use?
We'd have to ask
check
our
it out?
Alan and see if
We
Well,
would
Graham
use
Yost is from
Bing.
Canada.
Graham Yost is from Canada.
Okay.
And all right, what
Adam
Adam
Arkin.
Arkin.
Adam Arkin.
Adam Arkin.
Yeah, not Alan.
Fabulous
That's his
actor.
dad. So Adam. So who knows?
So Phil, you've locked the internet in your little booth over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got all the Wi-Fi right there in the booth.
You got all the Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi
He's
containment.
quarantined.
we got
us.
to make sure these shows are in HD.
Wi-Fi
That's
We
right.
got to make sure
Oh.
the fans come first.
That's
I gotta
right.
tell you that.
No.
And by
And
the way,
I love Adam Arkin, by the way. Incredible actor.
I know he's amazing. He's
And his
totally
father's
amazing.
not bad either.
Yeah, his father doesn't.
His
suck
dad
either.
did okay. I've
Yeah,
seen him in a
it's
couple
all right.
of
He's had a
things.
decent career.
You know.
Whatever.
While he's looking that up, I have one other little bit of news
From Graham?
It's it's actually just like news and gossip
Okay.
because we're going to use our special segment for something
That's
else. So I'm
right.
just going to pepper this
Something
in here.
even more special.
So Natalie Z, who plays Winona,
Yeah.
she wasn't in this episode. We do
No.
see she's in next week's episode.
Right.
But the interesting news is that she has gotten a new job.
What?
Very interesting.
So she has been cast in an untitled.
She's no longer a court reporter?
She's no longer a court reporter.
Okay.
She's been cast in a new pilot on Fox that's untitled, where she plays the wife of a serial killer who's setting up a whole community of serial killer
Wow.
mobsters.
She goes from Harlan County to serial killer.
There's a lot of speculation that she's going to get killed off. Now, I mean, it could happen either way because obviously actors do more than one show at a time. Sometimes she could also make special appearances, but there's that would sort of bode
Justified's known for killing people off.
right,
so
exactly. It sort of doesn't
Yeah.
bode
Never
that
know.
well for
The
Winona.
training is
maybe
there.
she's going to go to know the mystery.
What
She
was
might.
it? Is it called Slashford Wives?
It doesn't have a name.
Okay.
The Slash.
But that's a
Okay.
good guess, Steve.
Copywritten.
Thank you for the scoop. even
That
though
should
we
be
didn't get the
Yeah,
exclusive.
so
And,
I hope she doesn't get
Oh,
killed
hold on.
off.
Here we
He's
go.
from Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. See?
Adam Arkin.
Brooklyn,
Same thing.
Detroit,
Brooklyn,
you
Detroit.
know?
Which is a section of Detroit.
Well, you said that there's a lot of cross back and forth.
Back and forth,
Yeah.
You know, what?
multi-pollination.
if you grew
It's
up
just
in
a bridge. You
California,
go from the bridge.
anything after Colorado is all Brooklyn and
yeah.
Detroit, so
Yeah.
it's all a blur.
There you go.
And,
First
so,
heard
and
on-
some corn, evidently. So I heard.
Okay. That
So
should
where
be
were we?
funny.
We are all over our topic list.
We
We're
are.
just kind of going all over the place.
Yeah, I like to keep it freeform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps everybody on their toes.
I have a
So
question
there's-
first.
Yeah, here we go.
Is there any word as to whether or not Adam's character will carry on into the next season?
No,
No.
word yet. No word yet. But we do know he's in the season 3 finale.
I'm guessing that they won't kill him off for a number of reasons. One, you normally don't kill that. If he's in Detroit, he'll probably stay in Detroit, but who knows what will happen to his son.
Right.
But it'd be nice to keep him there because you just bring him back here whenever you need to.
yeah.
Right.
I would.
Yeah.
That's what I
And
would do.
you know he's directing a few shows, so maybe you don't want to kill him off. I don't know.
And what are the chances
Yeah.
of getting another Emmy over a death? Seriously. So
Well, that's
you're
true.
not
It's
gonna
the
get
season
that.
finale.
Easily.
Right.
Well, here, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a.
How can you avoid it here?
There's an election in town.
That's
yes,
right.
Yes. So the sheriff.
The sheriff.
Oh,
And
yes.
interesting. that
And he's running unopposed at the moment.
At the
Yes,
moment.
at the moment.
However-
But not for long.
However,
Mm-hmm.
they buy votes in a weird
Very
way
strange
over
way.
there.
to
Yeah.
hire. And who would have thought Boyd would get into Kingmaker role? I mean,
Again, the beginning of the season, we're going, oh, it's going to be this battle of the unknowing,
Right.
unaware Detroit against the Savian. No, now it's chess playing
Yeah.
and king making. And by the way, they figure, yeah, let's have an election, right? Because there's one in the real world, so
Yes.
why the hell not?
Yeah.
Let's introduce this. And just the Quarles in the sheriff's office. Again, I swear I could just sit and watch a Quarles show of just watching this guy work.
Isn't he
And
great?
Yeah, he's total control of it, even when he's not sure. Total control.
well, you were talking
you
about small
ain't
moments.
slid it back. yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't.
Yeah. One of my favorite small moments of this time was when he brings the boss's son into the house where all the machines are and all
clinic.
the clinic, quote, clinic that's in the home. And the boss, they're just touring around. The boss's son goes, "What's in there?" And he points to the room.
Storage room.
Yeah, it's just storage. And they just keep going. They don't say, of course, we're all laughing our butts off when that happens because we know what happens. And then they follow that later when he's in the mobile home with Win Duffy and says, "Paint the room. You can't paint
over
blood
blood."
stains."
And then he just gives him the look.
And that's one of those things I
take
really
care of it.
hate.
Yeah, because we've tried many times. It
So
doesn't.
many
It just
times.
does not paint over.
It's
You can
incredibly
see it.
annoying.
And
Have you tried Kills?
Duffy.
Have you tried Kills?
Kills.
Stain blocker.
excellent
Thank
tip.
God. Thank God we have. He's an
Before
expert,
and
ladies
after,
and gentlemen.
Not that I'm from Detroit, but
Yes.
What part of Detroit did you
crime
come from?
cover-up of choice.
Yeah, what kind of youth did you have?
oh yes.
really.
When the evidence absolutely needs to go away.
Story of a whole
Kills.
other episode.
Use kills before and after.
You have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know what.
That's
is-
why it's called kills, people.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. It wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know what's scarier: is being in a room when Quarles is in a good mood,
Yeah.
or being in a room when he's in a bad mood.
Yeah, because if he's in a good mood, he wants to beat somebody.
exactly. And if he's in a bad mood, he's just gonna do it
He's
more.
gonna kill you.
Yeah. God.
What was the other fun? Well, there's just so much of it was the fun this week. I'm glad we popped over and popped around. I didn't want to go linear.
Just quickly,
so
one
yeah.
other line that was kind of dropped. Make sure our friend is still in Tulsa.
Right.
Between Win and Quarles.
Yeah,
So
and of course we don't know who that is.
we have
Oh,
no idea who that
was
is. Little
that was
tease.
Gary.
Yeah, no, but we didn't know who it was when he said it.
Oh,
That,
right.
Just that little.
Oh man, I
And so
thought,
that's why.
I thought for a second I was ahead of the curve here.
No.
Well, you were for part of the curve.
Well, in your mind, you were.
in your mind.
1
God.
second.
You're a legend in your
Oh
own
my
mind.
God! You should hear the applause going on right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right. What? Oh, the other thing we didn't talk about was the little great meeting between Boyd and Limehouse. Because before,
Yeah, I was just looking
every
at that
time
now.
they'd had those meetings, Boyd was kind of, well, shall we say,
He's
on the
not-
soft sell.
Yeah.
And he was
Yes.
behind. He
a
was
little
like.
bit subservient.
Not
Yes,
really himself.
exactly. And the whole thing about last week, well, we know who you are, and we know,
Yes,
and they know
and they
who
tested.
everybody is, and Boyd is clearly behind the curve on this one.
There's two
Not
things
today.
two things that happened in there. One, Limehouse basically said, "You're not the top cock anymore."
Yeah.
That Quarles has got the guns and the backing, and we don't have faith that you're going to walk out of this.
Right.
And the other thing is, I'm not giving you all the information unless you ask, and both of those things piss the hell out
Yes.
of Boyd.
I like that, but just the visual they had. The money finally
Yes.
he finally makes his deposit.
Yeah.
Okay, now give me the information. And even still, it's only going to be what you ask. And you have to come up here to get it. And Boyd's like, no, I'm not playing that game.
Yeah.
We see
Well,
just a smidgen of the real Boyd
Yeah.
underneath the surface at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
He finally
And
shows
I
a card or two.
And they tied those 2 points up nicely because, I think Boyd's thinking Limehouse can do that because he doesn't think Boyd has the juice or the power anymore. So Boyd is seeing the shift happening. This
Right
Quarles
before his
shift,
eyes, yeah.
Right before his eyes, and peripherally, which is bad for him. So, that I was surprised to see it. I based on the previous meetings, I didn't think Boyd had that sort of, disrespect for Limehouse. That he didn't really show disrespect.
No, I don't think he showed disrespect. I think what he was showing was, and showing.
Exactly.
And showing, I think he felt like, okay, he's not respecting me and
Right.
my position, so I need to let him know where I'm coming from.
Right.
I think it was
And
that.
He's
As a
got some
banker.
stuff going on.
Yeah. And that was it was a skillful move with deciding to get somebody else to run for sheriff.
Yeah,
I think
nobody.
he's got the pull.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
And that was great
guy.
to see him back.
Shelby.
For anybody who doesn't
Shelby.
remember, Boyd took care of a blasting
Season
incident in
1,
the
they were-
mine.
yeah, they were going to rip him off.
Yeah, exactly. And he saved Shelby's life, so Shelby kind of owes him one.
I love how this show just brings people back.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
isn't
can be
that great?
gone for most of the season and then
Yeah,
come
they-
back in
yeah.
an episode, and then they have their own arc going on.
And they've actually mentioned that in a couple of interviews that we read, that they really like trying to bring somebody back that the audience already knows, so they don't have to explain who they are again. And they really like the work that everybody's done, so they keep looking for ways to bring people back who've done really good work for them. So it's a win-win.
And
for
it also
everybody.
does give you the feel of a small town.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
where you're going to run into these same people over and over.
Excellent point.
Exactly.
And it's really nice to see them, kind of check in on how you doing, and you're back, so you'll probably die, but until
that's
you're
okay.
until that happens,
Yeah.
it's good to
Enjoy.
hang with you.
True. Yeah, exactly.
I've got a
Enjoy.
question about the first scene.
Yeah.
Where Arlo is wandering looking for his wife,
His former wife.
his former wife. And my note here is like, where are they going with this? Because we did
Why?
spend a bit of time. Yeah, why and where are they going? Because there was a bit of time with that. And I'm like, okay, so that whole scene was to get Arlo back on his meds. I mean, what was that really about?
I think it was following that through thing, that through line, because they've set it up, and I'm assuming they're going to be using Arlo. They're trying, right now they're painting it like, okay, this is happening to Arlo, and it doesn't really affect Raylan, because when he went into the bar and Boyd told him all about it, Raylan really didn't pay attention.
Right.
But my guess is at some point it's really somehow it's going to affect him, because we only care about if it affects Raylan.
Well, and I have info on that about this. Graham
wow.
Yost. He said, he often says this in these interviews. He goes, "You've got to pay attention."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so this is one of those things. It's not a throwaway like so many of them. It is
Right.
something to pay attention to. And he says that there's a lot of undercurrent stuff going on this season between Raylan and Arlo.
Yeah.
And that will have surprising impacts.
Right.
In the end of the
Because here's
season.
what because if he starts going more and more towards the dementia side, the things that would normally pull them apart are going to dissipate because of what's happening, which is more important.
Right.
So we're probably going to see some sort of connection between the two, which we haven't seen, and then that's going to be exploited for some reason, or we're going to see a side of Raylan that we haven't seen yet.
Right, and it's sort of that classic thing of, yes, he's a marshal, yes, he's a lawman, yes, his father is lawless,
Right.
but
He's
there's
still
blood.
a father-son relationship that has been unfulfilled.
Right. And blood is everything.
And the
down there.
closer
that's true.
that that death comes, the more all the other stuff fades away, because you realize, look, I don't have time to.
That's right.
I don't have any more time with him.
Yeah, that's right.
So something's got it comes to a point where you want to resolve it, or you want to at least deal with it in some way. At least dramatically, you want to try to deal with it.
Right?
This show does not waste a second as
No,
far as what
or
goes
a
up
word.
or a word. So
It's so true.
I was just really curious to know what they're trying to tell me about Arlo,
Well, I
and
think
that
it's
he
'cause-
pise for his wife.
Yeah.
He's
Well, it's
obviously
dementia.
It's dementia, but
yeah.
you know,
and he's not on his
and
meds,
he's going-
and even with Ava's help, he's still not really taking them.
Right.
So it's only going to get worse.
That's right.
It's only going to get worse.
You think he'll die?
Arlo?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
do.
do too.
I think this is probably
Because
Here's the
they
question,
keep
though.
pulling things away from Raylan. As much as he doesn't really get along with his father, that relationship, whether good or bad, has created who Raylan is. So you
That's
take
right.
the pillar away, you take the former wife pillar away, you take the home life, and all of a sudden, where's his ground? Where's his?
That's right.
I can't depend on that relationship
He's a bouncer
anymore.
in a bar part time.
Exactly. So now what is he?
Right, but that could be really exciting for what happens
Yeah.
in the end of
That's
the
what I
season.
mean. That's why I
You know,
think it's
we'll
a
just
great
be
idea.
going- it's taking off all the reins of
Yeah.
Raylan, and he will be just like,
Everything that
Plus-
he's relied on and can depend on is going to be taken away from him.
that's right.
Plus, if Winona stays involved in some fashion, or she's pregnant,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the child does come,
I tell
to
you,
bear.
she's not having that baby. I'm just telling.
Okay.
I've told you
All right,
last
all right,
week.
okay.
I know it's going to happen.
But
Right.
now he will be a father, so there is going to be all of this that he needs to deal with as well.
All the other layers as well.
All the other layers. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but
That's
one of
good.
the questions I have is Arlo going to die a happy, peaceful death, or will there be violence involved?
This
If he
is
suddenly
justified.
goes to
Come
Berg?
on.
Justified. Thank you very much.
He's going to
The question
There's
is,
he'll
no
end
such
up
thing
dead
as a happy,
in-
peaceful death.
in
That's
Raylan's
justified.
arms.
the question is, how many different guns are going to be
Yeah.
used?
Right.
Yes.
How many
Right.
times is he going to be shot?
Yeah.
Or will it just be guns?
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
really quickly, what was the body count this episode?
None. No dead
wow.
body.
Zero. No dead bodies.
There were a couple of dead hogs.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
That's it,
we're
but
counting-
no
that's
dead-
right.
Yeah.
No
you
dead
need to
humans.
be
Here's
very
the
specific. How many dead humans?
No dead humans.
Okay.
After each episode, there's 3 things I want to do. I want to learn how to play the banjo.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to go get some barbecue. And I want to slug back some whiskey.
I know. So do I. I'm desperate.
I know,
We
it's
should
that
do
they
that for the
make it
finale.
look-
I'll
Put you in
drink
that
whiskey
mood.
for the
They
finale.
make it look
All right.
so
On that
yummy.
note, I
Yes.
think we ought to go to our break. So, Phil, if you would be so kind, would you send us to commercial break?
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Yeah, here we go.
On this lonely road, trying to make it home. Doing it by my lonesome, pissed off, who wants some? I'm fighting for my soul. God, get it.
All right, and we
love
are
that.
back. Okay, for our special segment today, rather than talk about Justified, because I think we covered that wholly and completely. So I don't think we need to go any
Thoroughly,
further with that. What we want to talk about is 1,000 Words. This is the movie you're going to be. It's premiering on the 9th. Am I correct?
1 week from today.
1 week from today, it comes out, so
Wow.
everybody go see it. So
So besides you, there are a couple of other people in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, but
There
who
are a
cares?
couple of others
Yeah.
in the movie.
Notables.
But we don't.
Besides
Well,
you.
okay, since you asked,
Yeah.
yeah, we did
you
it.
dragged it out of me.
Yeah.
It stars Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that guy.
This young up-and-comer? What, has he
co-stars
done
Eddie
anything
Murphy.
before?
Yeah, co-stars,
Co-stars
Eddie
Eddie
Murphy, Kerry Washington, John Witherspoon,
Nice.
et cetera. A few other people that,
Okay.
you know, we're also...
Besides you.
Exactly.
And you want to give us just a brief synopsis of what the movie is?
The movie is about Eddie playing a literary agent
Right.
who will say and do anything to close the deal.
Okay.
I mean, literally, he'll say, and he'll, you know, he will lie, and all he thinks
Lie,
about is
cheat,
just
steal.
making that money.
That's it. That's
making
what he
that
cares
money.
about. Yeah.
He
Seen it
hears
all
a-
the time.
He hears about a special Deepak Chopra or kind of guy, you know, that does these self-help things that people are, he's world famous for. And so he's written his first book. People have been trying to get an interview with him or getting him to write something down forever, and he's never done it, except he's finally decided to write a book. So Eddie, being the guy that he is, decides to go and close the deal with this guy.
Oh, there we go.
He says
Bad
anything.
mistake.
He will say exactly bad mistake. He says lies, and he says what he has to say to get him to close the deal to be his agent. But because he does that, the guru basically hooks Eddie up to this tree called a Bodhi tree, which
Bodhi tree.
exactly there is a Bodhi tree.
Oh
by the
yeah,
way.
yeah. I'm very familiar with it.
And so, because they become hooked at in terms of soulmates or whatever,
Yeah.
every time Eddie says another word, a leaf drops. And apparently, there's only 1,000 leaves on this tree.
tree.
And at the end of the last leaf, Eddie is no more and the tree is no more. So he dies.
Aha.
So he has to learn a lesson, and he learns it the hard way. But
yeah, and to
it's
keep his mouth shut, basically.
Basically, pretty much throughout most of the movie, he has
Right.
to keep his mouth shut.
So what's your part?
I play a literary agent with Eddie, who
excellent.
Eddie's been trying to mentor and also get to. He's kind of helping
To follow
me-
in your footsteps? To follow in his footsteps?
Well, you know, along the ways with women.
Ah, well, ooh. AfterBuzz exclusive.
Yes, exactly. He's teaching me how to, you know, get the girl and
how to court, woo the women?
and yes, something like that, and some hilarious.
He's giving you
things
game.
happen.
is what it
He's
is.
giving me a little bit of his game.
Yeah,
Let's put it
exactly,
that way.
exactly. And are you reticent, or are you just like, okay, let's?
Oh yes, I'm totally into it.
Okay.
I am
This is
totally
gonna be
into
fun.
it.
Nice.
I'm gonna have some fun.
There you go. Good.
Yeah.
All right, This is gonna be a lot of fun. That
But I'm
sounds
not
like a
quite
ball.
the guy that he is. Let's just put it that way.
Well, this sounds like it's gonna be fun. How was the experience working on the movie?
Oh man, it was great.
Did the improvisational stuff kick in? Did you get a chance to really play around in there? Or was it fairly tight with the script?
No. It was, you know, it's funny. There's some very serious parts in this movie that
Sure.
Eddie has to play because he has to learn a lesson. And you know, when I first met him on set, he was in a serious mood. And you know, I kind of had to lighten things up a little bit, you know, because I was wondering, why is this guy so quiet? He was just doing his thing as an actor. But once we actually got working, you know, it was like tennis. Like
Yeah,
we
you
started
just- Oh,
improvising
that's
back
so
and forth with
fun.
each other, and you know, I would do something not on the script, and he would go, "Oh, okay, check this out," and he'd throw it back at me, and we kind of like had this riff going back and
That's
forth.
great.
And the director Brian Robbins, who's you know, he's either written, directed, or produced
Yeah, he's done
hundreds
tons of
of
things.
shows.
Yeah, he's done a ton of things.
He just let us go with it.
That's great.
Yeah, it
So you had
was-
a lot of freedom then. That's a lot of fun.
A lot of freedom, and you
So
know,
it was playtime on the set.
It
for
was
you.
playtime, and Eddie respects people that you know just do their thing.
They can get out there and just do it. Right?
Yeah, he does
And
not.
just have fun.
I remember the movie he did a long time ago, Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, sure.
Of course.
Brandon Pinchot.
Bronson Pinchot. Yeah.
Bronson Pinchot. He stole the scene that Eddie did.
Yeah. Bronson.
Now,
Bronson made up most of that scene. He
Yes.
just kind of improv.
He just kinda
and
like
that character
went
and the
with
whole thing. Yeah.
Eddie loved it.
Yeah.
He let it go and made that guy let him went on to be a star.
He has a
Right.
career because of it. Yeah.
which is you know he's quite a humble guy.
Yeah.
and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
And that shows a hell of a
fabulous.
lot of confidence in somebody at that age who said, "Yeah, let the guy go."
Yeah.
Well, it's incredibly smart because
Yeah,
that
it made the
also
scene.
it made the scene.
It
and
made the scene.
He was in it, and everyone that looks at it goes, "Wow, that's so good how
Because
they
what they
did
remember
that scene."
remember that scene where that guy was with Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy?
Yes.
Because
Right.
they remember as Eddie Murphy.
That's right.
And It
That guy
made
was in the
it
scene.
made him look just
Yeah.
really funny without doing anything.
That's
so
terrific.
he's-
Totally.
It's very smart.
That's
So
really
well,
good.
that's really exciting. I can't wait for it to come out. That should be a lot of fun.
And I don't know if you guys have seen the previews with Kerry Washington.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't.
I love this woman. She's such a great actress. That's all I have to say.
Oh, okay.
okay.
All right. All right.
Okay.
We'll keep it on the QT and the rest
No,
of
but
it.
you have another. Is it a?
Please do.
Yeah.
You have another. Is it a film coming out? Rush Lights.
Yes,
Lights,
it's a murder mystery starring Beau Bridges and, coincidentally enough, his son Jordan Bridges.
Oh.
And it's quite a good movie.
Jordan.
Jordan, yes,
And
he plays
it's quite a
on.
good movie. So it's all done, right? And when does it
Oh
come
yeah,
out?
that's I believe it's coming out a month later.
Okay, so you've already seen it then.
Well, you're on
Yes.
fire.
Nice.
Well, you know, I try to be.
Okay.
I try to be. That's what I can say. And I have other things kind of like in the works that I can't talk about right this second,
Oh.
but I'm having fun. Let's just put it that
Oh,
way.
well.
Look for more.
Are any of those for public consumption, or should we not ask about it?
Well, where do they stay updated?
Yeah,
Like,
how does everybody find you? Where can our fans check you out?
You know, on Twitter, you can reach me at TB Hines. On the web, TerenceBernieHines.com. You guys can see this and you'll read my
and
lips,
for the
Terence
benefit
Bernie
of
Hines.
our iTunes fans, just can you give us a read of the letter by letter? Because we have
course,
hundreds of thousands of audio listeners versus the video ones. And stuff.
Yeah.
They're
And
not
by the
saying
way,
your
I'm
name.
a fan too.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
you guys' AfterBuzz.
Thank
TV.
you.
We're so happy. Go ahead.
Who do you like best?
Right now,
Don't
I'm
listen to
talking, so let's just listen.
So not
No,
you
really.
would be the answer.
TerenceBerniehines.com.
There we
And you
go.
can also reach me on Facebook as well. I have a bunch of stuff happening, and
So we'll look there to find out all that.
Look there; it'll be coming up, and who knows? Maybe one day I'll even come back on the show with you guys because I'm having a blast.
We'll have to do your movie. We'll see if we can do a podcast, 1,000 words. That would be fun.
Real fans are welcome anytime. Actually, any fans are welcome anytime. Tweet us, call us. Do all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And that was one of the other things that we wanted to mention to our iTunes listeners is write us comments on the iTunes page.
Absolutely.
Ask
Give
questions.
us a comment.
We really appreciate the comments if you can give them. Just take a
Let
minute.
us know how we're doing.
It helps us out a lot and keeps us going.
Yeah, really. And, when we do get those comments, we'd like to incorporate ideas or whatever that come to us. And if you just want to friend us or thank us or you like us or whatever they do on those fancy interwebs.
Send money.
Send money. If you hear something on the show and what's about that?
You want to know more about something, like we had that great thing on with the marshal. I can't remember his name.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we all go.
The marshal.
He was the
the
first
real marshal.
He was the first African American marshal.
Yeah,
whose name
they mentioned him in
totally
one of the.
escapes us.
Really?
Yeah. And this guy was a badass.
Oh my God, he was.
Yeah.
He would have to be.
Yeah, he was terrific.
Yeah.
He was amazing. All the stuff he
It's a
did.
great story.
I can't remember his
Which
name.
You know how you
which
can
we'll
find
tell you
out?
later.
Bing
Ooh.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
check
you
the
can-
archives.
Bing it.
Okay. Well, I
Check it
think
out.
we have come to the close.
We haven't
we're
done
gonna do predictions.
Now,
We have to do
All right.
predictions.
AfterBuzz TV
All right.
predictions.
Okay. Does anybody have anything off the bat?
Gary's gonna die.
Dang
Very
it.
good. That's what I was
That
going to
was
say.
mine
Wow,
too.
that
you
was
gotta
mind
get there
blowing.
quick,
Okay.
people.
Mind blowing. How did she come to that?
Sheriff's gonna die.
Sheriff
Sheriff will die, definitely.
Sheriff's gonna die?
Oh.
That's not really a prediction. That's just in the upcoming.
Yeah. Well, no. I don't know if he
My
dies.
prediction
It's
is
just
this.
explosion.
This is Arlo's last. I think Arlo's.
I have
goes
one.
out.
I think it's okay. Go ahead.
Quarles will die.
Quarles.
Probably
Oh.
not to the end of the season,
Oh, yeah,
but he
I-
will die.
I'm going to second that. I'm going to go with him on that one.
Right on.
I think it's
And
going to be a bloodbath at the end.
They
Yes.
won't be able to clean up the blood either. So
No,
they'll
not
use
even
with
using
kills.
Not even with
Yeah.
kills.
So,
Invest in kills if
That's
you're
right.
gonna work with Quarles.
Yeah.
That's all we're
So-
saying.
Exactly.
Now with bleaching action.
Right.
I think from here to the end, well, maybe not. Well, what I'm hoping is that they're going to do a, kind of like a race. Is that, we're getting towards the finale. I kind of want to see more.
It's
energy
gonna
coming
ramp
into
up.
this. Yeah, because now we've met all the players.
Yes.
Yep.
We've seen all the machinations. We'll have a little bit more about that in the next episode and one more, and then it'll be race to the end.
Bass Reeves.
Bass
Bass
Reeves.
Reeves.
Yes.
That's it. Bass Reeves is
Thank
the
you.
marshal.
You got your
Wow.
First African American marshal.
Fascinating. You should look him up.
Yeah,
It's
check him
really
out.
interesting.
Yeah, they talked about it once. Okay, I'm hearing the rollout music. We got to get out of here.
You can catch me at Tamara Jewelry on Twitter, and also tamaracentral.com is my website.
Bottomley Steve Twitter.
And one more time, Terrence.
At TB Hines on Twitter.
Okay, Phil, you want to let them know where they can see you?
Where they can see what?
Where they can catch you?
AfterBuzz TV.
There you go.
AfterBuzz TV.
Sounds
And you
good.
can catch me running for the bus.
Thank you for being with us,
on behalf of
Terrence.
AfterBuzz
It's my
TV.
pleasure, guys.
That was
Thank you.
wonderful.
I'm going to say goodbye to for Phil, for Tamara, for Steven, and thank you so much again. It's a pleasure having you. We hope you come back.
Yay.
Can't wait to see 1,000 Words coming out next week, March 9th, and then
Awesome.
Rush
Rush
Lights.
Lights
Rush
comes
Lights.
out
Awesome.
In another month.
In
in
April.
in April, so we'll look for that as well. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
week.
Yay.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.